Yeah, it's just how do you deal with a little bit of an odder setup, right? In terms of, Ramattra Punch is going to come in, play a certain style of play, right? Dealing with that can be difficult at times. We did see, the series that we did, right? I believe it was Nightmare versus Ramattra Punch Senna on the Widow. They were actually sick.
Why is Angelic in it? Tank. That's interesting. Obviously, Derpy, or Cleopatra as they were known in these clips here, was playing tank for Ramattra Punch earlier, so not too sure what that's been like. Although I have noticed Derpy having some rough ranked games in the last few days as I've joined the stream, so hopefully they
decided to just not
just not turn up. I hope that's not the case. But look, I want to talk about Senna. She was incredible in that series against Nightmare. Really impressed us. I think that's something to get excited about if you're a Ramattra Punch fan, and something that Radx Avidity might be a little scared of. They do have fun though, and she's also a force to be reckoned with. Her Genji play especially, I think, excited us.
Absolutely right, because Bunge, she can play obviously the hit scan and different things, but you have Wub on the roster as well. So you have those two combined as a damage dealer core, very strong for Avidity. So we'll see if they're able to get by Ramattra Punch. They kind of mentioned, right? They end up losing them in Swiss, but probably, you think back that long ago, Swiss was like a different meta at the time, and at that point, probably in Swiss, like Juno obviously wasn't available, so that kind of changes everything. So a completely different game at the moment.
That's a very good point. A lack of Juno availability, something that really takes Orisa, I think, and clocks her up to 11. Radx Avidity also did play against like a lot of rush style. They played against this Junker Queen, for most of that series. Romani is a Junker Queen player primarily. So, it's something a little bit different. They weren't getting the Orisa mirror. They're probably not going to get a ton of the Orisa mirror here unless that's what Angelic wants to play. Like if that roster graphic is accurate, Danny, then yeah, I guess your boy Derpy is also having the selfie.
Not here. Damn.
Okay,
roster. All right, we just got the call. Yeah, it is wrong. So it was. If you were right, I think it is. If we had a bit of a mix-up, it's gonna be Cleopatra on the Rhine. It seems. So it's gonna be. We're gonna see another Rhine. That just gets me even more excited for the match.
That graphic, they would have been like, "What the hell is going on?"
They did a false sense of security, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. The match is ready. So Mitch and Matt, take it away.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah, we'll jump in just a moment here to another first to three, folks, for qualification to the main event for both of these teams. This would be huge. I'd say, definitely the biggest result that either of these rosters will have put up here, and the only thing that stands in their way is one another. Lijiang Tower to start with, and obviously Derpy's in on Rhine, so we're chilling. Don't worry about it.
And we're going to get to a point where the higher seeded team's going to give up taking map number 1 because they know the other team's just going to take Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or just try and get themselves like a good... There's no way that's a good strat though, really. Like giving away a map is just...
no, because loser pick here in this type of scenario, like if you're doing the map draft, like thinking like the basic rules, like possibly, right? But here OWCS loser pick, fourth thing. So see what they decide to do. So I think, right, we know what Ramattra Punch is going to try and do. They're going to force this Reinhardt. They're gonna try and play around it with all their might, right? I think the real kind of question is like, okay, what does Radx Avidity do against it, and is it good enough to stop it, beat it? Because obviously in Swiss it was not.
That's right. But now, different metagame. Juno available here, of course, in this group stage, and here come Radx Avidity with a comp that is genetically designed to kill Reinhardt. That's right, Wub is going to be on the Bastion. They know exactly what they're walking into.
And for Ramattra Punch, right, we kind of have an idea of what we're going to see from a lot of the players, but it'll be a Venture Ash setup with Reinhardt. So this is something that's way different than what we've seen, but also the Venture can put a lot of pressure on this Bastion, right? Bastion doesn't have a lot of mobility.
Yeah, also, it's awkward. Venture gets right up close on the Bastion. Danny, though, might just be wanting to peel, and there it is. Yep, that's the shield of Cleopatra gone. And Derpy has to have expected this. It's what people do to him in ranked as well. You see that sort of Reinhardt one trick come in, you want to try and punish that as much as possible. So Ramattra Punch, like, fundamentally probably feels like at a disadvantage because they want to play a comp that is probably pound for pound not as strong as the Orisa setup, and the Bastion really complicates things. So how do they pressure this Bastion? Is it all about the Venture? Can they do more here?
I also think for Ramattra Punch, right, not being able to get control of the point first, really difficult because you're going to have Derby taking all of this damage trying to get across that bridge. And look at the shield. I mean, just disintegrates. Goodbye, Reinhardt. As you get control of the point, right? You can play a little bit safer around the pillar, but at this point, you can't really do much of anything. It's going to be the orbital array here used by Salmon and Ramattra punch, so they want to get in, try and flip this.
I mean, they got 12s. They managed to whip shot the Orisa off the bridge, man. That is nuts from Angelic. After you've lost your Reinhardt, being able to make that happen is ridiculous. So now this Rein comp has control. They have priority, and it's going to be a stagger on Wub coming back from spawn in a few seconds.
Yeah, this should look a bit better, right? You can have Derby play around this position on the corner. You start to get dynamites here from Senna. She can get with headshots across the gap, put some damage down, and then you're not just going to be standing out in the open or running directly into a Bastion in Wheels mode, right? Putting down all that damage.
Here's that Bastion ultimate. Everyone's splitting for the most part. Save that last shot for last. Yep. Here comes 12s. And Rana going to be popped straight away, but already Reinhardt knocked there. Orbital Ray coming out for Ramattra. Avidity. Can he get that Bastion where he needs to be? Wub not standing inside the Ray here at all. But that's fine. Button, she goes in, does the dirty work. Angelic and Cleopatra get removed. It's Danny time, apparently. As the Venture was able to find a couple of kills here, but this won't be enough, and Salmon has gone over the edge for a reset.
Yeah, as you're going to lose Senna towards the end of this fight as well, as Danny able just making out with his life, so doesn't get hit with the javelin coming through the air from 12s, but for Radix Avidity, you do have this blade, right? Everybody going to be grouped up for Ramattra punch, nothing to really deal with it at the moment. Potentially, though, Derpy Shatter and combined with an orbital array, that could be something that could be huge to flip the point back.
Tough to block this Shatter. Balls can maybe get in the way with the Fortify, but okay, Orbital Ray going to come in here, but Button's already found Salmon! That's huge! Orbital Ray already used for Ramattra punch, but they don't really have the ability to make use of it. Now they're sort of awkwardly sat out in the open without most of their healing. They only have a brig to rely on now. They have to reset and hope that Salmon can get back to them, but that's dangerous to try and cross this contested territory, and Bionade on Derpy means there's not a lot the Ryan can do here at all. Tectonic Shock might have claimed Bun had she not given her plenty of space, and Nenwai's going to back away from his AoE damage. Tough to survive this. Got Burrow, little emergence, and that is the pick, but not enough to get the round in their favor.
Yeah, and you're never able to get used to the Shatter, right? You kind of have it within inside the orbital ray, but it's a nice bio grenade that comes in from Scuffed, I believe, and not able to get used to that Shatter. So would have been huge there in that type of situation, right? With the blade on the other side, nothing to block the Shatter, right? For Avidity, so a opportunity, a window there for Ramattra punch that they're not really able to get anything going. Potentially this point, like just the geometry works a little bit better for the Reinhardt, so could see it make a bit more of an impact.
But again, those long straightaways are a little dangerous for Ryan to have to navigate. Always some ability to flank, but these comps don't really leave these big loose ends unless you're a team that wants to play Tracer, which we have seen sparingly, though, out of North America. Derby's pushed up here, wants to play that corner, does not want to have to play at range. Just leaves themselves slightly exposed to the high ground of Radix Avidity, but they have no long-range hit scan. Pretty safe to be here. Senna has a lot of space.
I think if you're Avidity, you try and go take point, right? They're going to push back in at the moment. They look like they're just trying to find anybody, whether it be Danny, Angelic, or Derpy, just trying to play out in the open and maybe just kind of run somebody down.
Cleopatra now being forced back a little. But again, Derpy just going to sit on the corner. So this is where I want to play with the Bastion. Oh, that's scary. By shield. Bye. Derpy does well to get out of the way here, but so low and there just wasn't enough healing. You've got to find a way to deal with this Bastion. Don't know what it's going to be. They are trying to play like some long-range pressure in terms of Senna's Ash. I like that, and Danny's gotten a lot done on the Venture here.
Yeah, as he goes into the backline, takes out Scuffed and Ninlight really low as well, as they don't really have anything to kind of protect the supports, and Danny will take out both of them. So now you get Derpy coming back off a spawn potential here. So they knock the Bastion off. The Bastion doesn't fall off, and then the Ryan goes off the side.
Okay.
Oh, and then you have Scuffed here to heal, so you're going to be able to potentially flip this back.
Yeah, quick about it though. You've got to beat Senna low. They're going to have to give this up. Danny! Oh, Danny! Couldn't quite get away. Caught there by Wub. Still, Derpy's back in the fight already, but there's a Terra Surge waiting, and that Ryan is bioed. Drops down. Decent amount of damage here. Bob deployed by center, but taken them by Bun again. She's been a nuisance on the Genji. That's putting it lightly. But Orbital Ray, pretty powerful ability, especially when your Reinhardt can stand there. You get a nice little tan. Ramattra Punch actually maintain control of the point here.
That's huge. Not giving up the point through that, where it looked pretty good for Avidity to be able to flip that potentially, but Avidity has nothing to really work with. This blade from Bun, but it's going to be difficult for her to get value with a rally and Shatter. On the other side, Tectonic Shock also could be quite good here moving through this choke.
Danny wants to go over. Come with a tech shock. Shatter comes in. Danny caught though by something. Wants to come forward. Tech shock has expired, but Wub's been picked off. So now much less to break this Reinhardt shield of Derpy. 59% and counting. A Bun Blade might save the day here.
Yeah, the point was flipped there for a second. It looked like Bun actually got around to the point. She was able to flip it. So that actually forces Ramattra Punch all the way back to go flip that point back into their favor. It'll be a rally for Angelic here, just trying to keep the Rhine alive.
Okay, well, Wub is knocked out of wheels mode pretty quickly. And see Derpy wants to try and capitalize, instantly coming forward, but there's the Blade. They have a trade of Junos here. Mega picked up by Bun, but that's the end of Dragon Blade. Still be able to harass Derpy from behind after they were here with another bio. And think quick, Wub. Beautiful javelin spin there from Twals to make that space. It is so scrappy. But I think Radix Avidity should have enough to move in. It's just an Ashe sitting on that point.
Yeah, it is center though. She can come up with some crazy shots at range, but forced to move back. So Ramattra Punch gets into one fight territory, huge for them. It's probably the final point left on this map. It's actually probably the best for Reinhardt, right? So you win this one here. You're Bun able to make it out. You're in a decent spot. You do lose anyway, though.
What a fire strike there from Derpy. Bun gets in there. Danny taken down. That pesky Venture finally dealt with. Bun, I don't know how she stayed alive to come out and then also get the kill on the brig. Also, that Orbital Ray?
Bun was nanoed there, right? So that's how she's able to stay alive through a lot of that, as trying to keep Derpy alive as long as possible. Then gets assisted off the side. So this will be a fight win for Radix Avidity. It's a nice nano onto Bun. Allows her to stay alive, pick up some kills, also build towards another blade rather fast.
It's the Ray in this fight that might be the difference maker. Oh, okay, not good. They've caught Bun out though, so now 5v4 for Ramattra Punch. Don't feel like they can engage though through this Bastion ult. Not that it seemed to be all that effective. Derpy completely unhindered by those shots. Terra Surge here might be the play. Shatter could be in a shoe, and it comes in, catches Wub, knocks him out of wheels mode, but Bionade on Derpy instantly. Trying to heal up as much as he possibly can, but Senna's already gone down. The blade from Bun. That hurts. Trying to put Angelic to bed as well, but they stay alive because of the rally here. Radix Avidity have got to be careful. They can't leave this point for too long. They need a touch here. There's no one. No one to touch. Balls is too late.
Balls trying to come back, and then Bun off to the side. Yeah, nobody able to get a touch. I think it would have been a really difficult thing to flip in that type of scenario. The rally, I think, from Angelic comes up massive, right? That kind of keeps everybody alive here for Ramattra Punch. This is actually really good for them. This is probably the best point for Reinhardt. I mean, hell, you can make an argument that this is probably the best point across the game right now for Reinhardt. This is a really good spot for Ramattra Punch to be in.
The only places they don't want to be is coming out from spawn, really. Here's this Shadow. Notice that Wub never gets to do anything in that fight. And that is with a Terra Surge coming in, by the way.
I mean, you're keeping the Derby alive forever there so that's a huge shout out to the supports.
Again, and this is a reminder as well that even if you're on a different comp, you can win if you play it really well. That was great from Ramattra Punch. I just love the Venture in this setup. I think Danny's been so annoying for Bun to deal with. I don't think Genji's favored 1v1ing the Venture on these flanks, given that they have a nasty melee and also good splash damage off the primary fire that's at short range. Okay, that shield needs to be preserved here.
Yeah, they're trying to save as much shield as possible, but Derpy has to back up, and you just kind of get split there, and they just isolate Danny. No cooldowns available for the Venture, so end up taking them out rather easily.
We healed up and back in no time. Cleopatra, though, again, like playing this straight away is not a good spot to be as Ryan. They're trying to isolate the Ryan bar. Wub actually wants Derpy out in the open to break that shield, to damage that Ryan down. A very early orbital ray here. Look how far behind NY is. That's just how much of a slapping Ramattra punch got in that first fight that gave them the heals. And yeah, it's enough to win it for him here.
Yeah, and also interesting of note is for Avidity, you're actually going to be playing the Baptiste. So, not going to be playing the Ana to, big bio grenades from Scuffed in the last round, and then also the nanos onto, Bun specifically were huge. This is going to be a Deadeye walking up for Senna. She's looking for a kill. Finds some damage on Scuffed and didn't get the kill. But, the Immortality Field and the Amp Matrix, which is used here, could be quite huge.
Going 12's making good use of it. Blade here for Bun. What a cleanup for Radix Avidity. Love to see that. Danny able to find the Baptiste right at the start of that engagement. And obviously you want more layers of support for your Bastion play. You want that Immortality Field, but you don't really have the mobility to deal with those Venture dives. You only go up, and Venture goes up as well.
Yeah, they're giving up on they're giving up on the BAP as well. They're going to be playing the Brig now, so just the survivability against Danny and playing the Venture really difficult to do. That's going to be a shatter that hits 2. Yeah, Orbital Ray in response.
Their mic does go down, but they did get the Orbital Ray off. Qualls wants to move up with it, but has to respect what Ryan can do. Also, the rally comes out from Angelic, enough to kind of counter this, or at least stifle this aggression. Paul's needs healing, so Javelin's been used, and they've noted that Derpy has gone past them into the backline. Center on the Cassidy here. Nothing Wub can do about that at all. And you can't ignore the Ryan like that. Derpy got through and picked up the Brig with a Fire Strike, something that she can't do a thing about.
Yes, the rally really good there for Ramattra punch. It kind of negates that orbital ray, like you mentioned, from Avidity, right? They don't want to kind of like push up into that rally, keeps everybody topped up. And now for Ramattra punch, you have your orbital ray plus like tectonic shock, like as they move through some of these chokes, so you're in a position to end up taking the lead.
All right, Bob swings out. Pressure on the Rhine Shield, about as good as the range gets for the Bastion. Still wasn't able to bring it down because the Deadeye is forced a disengage from Radix Avidity. Orbital Ray here for Salmon. This could really be a Ramattra punch round and map here if they can keep the Rhine standing. There's the Ray. Bastion ult here. Maybe a DPS loss if you think about it. Not in a position to press that Rhine Shield down. Twals did get Danny, but this is bad for NY. They're not going to be able to build another Orbital Ray here either. Radix Avidity had the point flipped away from them for quite some time now. And have one last shot with this Juno ultimate.
Yeah, I think the idea behind using Wub's artillery strikes is that the orbital ray comes through, so you want to deny the follow-up through that. And so you use those, shots from the Bastion ultimate to potentially deny that space.
There's Cleopatra trying to catch Twals here, but the Fortifier's going to make it hard to stop the Orisa in their tracks. Orbital Ray, good ult. Rally, good ultimate. Put them together, it's even better. But Radix Avidity now need to end the round without those press Q to win options.
But you did have Angelic and Ramattra Punch end up using their rally as well, so it doesn't really feel as bad as a Bun finds Danny here on the exit. So this is huge. You're going to have to wait for the Venture to come back. Bun continuing strong Genji play here throughout last 2 games that we've seen.
Coming down to one shatter here, Matt. Cleopatra with the ultimate. Again, we'll be facing that same level of pressure from the Bastion, from the Orisa. Here the wrap around now. It's going to be a down for Senna. This is going to give priority to Derpy.
It's going to give them the point.
Yep. That's great. I mean, now we're in overtime. The pressure's on for Radix Avidity. They're going to make something happen here. They've got to be tracking the shatter. And Cleopatra surely thinks about it here. But Angelic goes down. Salmon picked off by the Terror. Oh, no! Oh, it's a disaster! Interrupted by the Javelin as he tried to go for the shadow. Wub eventually falls here. Looks like splashback damage now. 2 versus 2 is going to be Genji and Orisa though alive, which is, that's a pretty powerful setup. Pick up the Mega, go to work, and it goes in the blender. Senna, she gets caught out. Now the reinforcements come in. Derpy having to switch over towards this Doom Fist in a stagger situation, and it's close. It is a real close map here. The Ramattra punch pull up just a little short.
And man, a great opportunity there for Ramattra punch to potentially win that one, but Avidity, they clutch it up in the end as that interrupt on the shatter. I don't think that would have been like the difference, right, in the fight. No, Derby was pushed so far out, by the Orisa. Just feels bad, though. They never really got a great opportunity to use it.
I mean, I think Ramattra punch did the right things in that fight. They Deadeye for position. They Deadeye for a flip on the point here. And then you see them, they're obviously looking for a shadow. There is a Terror Surge available, though, at that time for 12s. And somehow they catch Salmon inside of that. I mean, nicely done. There's a lot of disruption as well for that Terror Surge. This Surge got held for like a second or so. It was so short. Let's throw it back. It was Ryan all the time from Ramattra Punch here. That whip shot was a big part of getting them back into the round here. But again, it's tough to beat this Bastion Orisa setup.
Yeah, the Bastion just puts so much damage out in such a short period of time, especially like for the Reinhardt, right? You can't exactly stand there, with the shield. This is just, I mean, you hit the Bastion and he just goes, he literally hits the railing and they're able to live. I mean, that's just unfortunate.
A lot of back and forth this second round. The venture play from Danny, quite impactful, putting a lot of pressure on the back line, especially. Oh yeah, this blade from Bun, of course, was instrumental. Again, Orbit Array, it's all about that ability. Notice it here, this is just a very easy walkover fight. And with the loss of Danny here, everybody from Ramattra Punch able to push up.
The Orisa gets a little bit more value out of the orbital rate, right? In terms of like the stats, because like you don't have to be like Ryan to put down the damage, right? And you have to be so far in the mix, right? Where the orbital ray almost like moves like slower than you probably could, like as an individual player. Where like the Orisa, like you can just put down farm damage at range, right? I mean, it's a lot easier to make that useful.
Oh yeah, almost like the self-slow built in a fortify, like helps you stay inside that. Hard to say, but here it is. Your stats broken down, and don't be surprised to see a massive damage dealt number in the Rad X Avidity column. That is the impact of Bastion, I think, in their setup.
Yes, without a doubt. So a lot of that is the Bastion damage that comes on through. That's a huge difference maker. And then the healing, right, for Ramattra Punch, it's going to be higher because obviously more damage incoming, more damage to potentially heal, right? Where the Reinhardt, you can just farm up all your healing on that one hero.
Yeah, look, there might have been an argument for, that last Shadow just getting fired off a little earlier, maybe just looking for one player with that, just to turn the game around. Both tank ultimates being the only sort of relevant ults coming to that last fight, it's always going to be an exciting time. It ended up being a 2 versus 2. It's just Orisa or a tank against any other, hero in any other role normally is going to win out there. So yeah, Orisa Genji, you can clean the round up.
Yeah, we don't have like what they played in Swiss, so quite curious. But like looking at the map pool, I think we talked about this the last time with Ramattra Punch. Not a lot of great options to go to if this is the type of playstyle you want to play. You're looking at, maybe you play like one of the clashes. Maybe you play, a New Junk City. Like it feels like those are two of the better ones you can actually play, right? But they're both in the same pool. Runasapi would not be one. I believe we actually saw them play Rialto. I believe that was a map selection of theirs, and that was where Senna played the Widow. She was awesome on that, and then you can make Reinhardt work there on Rialto, albeit like pretty difficult.
What about Ryan on Midtown? How do you feel about that?
I mean, you can play it, and you gotta kind of like go for that high ground, which could be difficult. It just feels like they trying to close that gap with that bash, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, we have seen Reinhardt or the slower tanks have a little bit of trouble in that second phase of the map attacking on Midtown. King's Row might be a reasonable option here. I see no reason not to just bust out Rialto immediately here and just play the Ryan, get good hit scan pressure from Senna. Force Bun maybe onto like a more aggressive role, having to go after the Widow time and time again. That'd be a great matchup.
Well, we've seen Rhine work in the past in certain scenarios, like if you combo the Rhine with, extra mobility, right? Just having Juno here for the speed doesn't seem like it's enough. Where in the past, you think back to like how SSG has made it work and whatnot, is like with the sim in the mix, right? And lots of movement around the map, getting the Rhine into these positions where if you're just going to have that one speed to get the Rhine to a spot, it's going to be very difficult to keep the Rhine alive at that location, right? So I think to make this work at like a really high level, you may just need to add another extra layer of mobility for the Rhine.
Let's again take this opportunity to remind you all, this is your last chance to get your drops here, of course, for our second week of qualifiers. So this is obviously for our week 2 of groups. Again, we got the home and away OWCS Echo skins there, the name card as well, the Genji Aura name card. Big fan of that one. So make sure you have your Blizzard account connected on Twitch, and you can click on the little, it's like an open letter icon at the top, your notifications tab on Twitch to see whether you've got them, and you can track your progress in your.
You guys can find it. You're smart people out there.
I'm looking at chat, so I'm just going to lay it out a little bit if I can. That's all.
They know. They're spamming drops. They know where they're at, though. They know how to get to them. Don't worry about them. They're just there to just keep the engagement up.
Matthew's faith in humanity, a relic of the bygone era, not unlike the Reinhardt.
I don't have faith in humanity. I have faith in the people in our chat. That's it.
You don't think that's a reasonable cross section of humanity?
Probably, yeah, probably. So yeah, I guess I do have faith in humanity.
That's
you're
great.
Right. You've talked me into it.
I'm really glad to see that. We're a couple of moments away here from our second map in the series, and Rialto was selected here. Yeah, so we're paid to do this. Love to see that. Ramattra Punch obviously want to take the game here. Get good, strong Widowmaker play. Obviously, I have a Reinhardt frontline.
Somebody should pay you to coach.
Jeez, I don't know about
You'd still be able to do the broadcast because they'd be out in the Swiss. So
that is true. Maybe I could just do that for fun. I don't recommend hiring me to coach squad, but I mean, I can make ridiculous ideas sound reasonable, maybe by using some vocal devices, but that's about it. I don't recommend that. I don't know. I mean, who would I ask to coach as Overwatch casters? Danny would be a great coach for Ramattra Punch. I think he vibes with the sort of spirit of that team.
Reinforce.
Johnny would be Johnny would be a great coach. He's so self-effacing. He's not as washed as he seems, folks.
Reinforce.
Avril could sell himself as a coach, I think. But because whenever he says something, he really means it. Like
they wouldn't even get. You know how I say you get eliminated from the Swiss? They wouldn't even get signed up.
Well, no, you just
that's how early they get eliminated.
People that believe him.
Sign-ups.
Like if you have people that like believe in him, then like he'll be so, I don't know, authoritative in his delivery.
That could work. Or it could not. So we'll see Avidity here on defense here to kick things off. So Senna, like we mentioned, a tremendous Widowmaker in the last series that we saw them play on Rialto. So definitely a player to keep your eye on here for Ramattra Punch.
All right. I was wondering how they would sort of contest this Widow play, and they're going to have to play up pretty close to this Ramattra Punch setup, deal with the constant flanking. So Bun, she has probably the biggest job here at the moment for Radx Avidity on this defense side. The echo was also awkward for Radx Avidity. I don't really know how they're supposed to deal with that. How they interact with that easily can really cause Bastion some problems on this pick.
Yeah, it can definitely give the Bastion some trouble. Also kind of take some fire away from the Bastion, right? Bastion has to obviously respect the Echo is... What is this going to be? Okay, an Ashe. So bringing an Ashe a little bit safer, right? With them playing Genji on the other side. You're not... Because there's so much healing that has to go into the Rhine, there's just not an option to play like a Widow where you're going to have to, get some help and resources in the backline, right? Especially going up against Genji.
Checks out. Tulsi has to contest from the high ground if they can. Angelic solo up here. Not committing though too aggressively. They're just keeping them honest, maybe trying to knock some people down to the low ground, be a nuisance in general. Pretty good sidelines here for those torpedoes. So a lot of healing expected out of Juno. And that pressure now being felt by Wab. Probably flanking attempts there by Danny. And eventually Senna is brought down. Now the pressure's going to start to mount here over towards Ramattra Punch. Derpy stunned up and will be split off from the rest of their team.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the difficulty, right, with the Genji in the mix. When we watched Ramattra Punch have success with that Widow, I don't believe there was a Genji on the other side. I believe it was actually Nightmare. They ended up kind of mirroring the Widow at times. Well, now with an Ashe in the mix, right, if Senna gets isolated, Bun is going to collapse right on top of her. So just be really careful, knowing that she doesn't have a lot of resources either.
Okay, all right. This time we're taking the more direct approach, apparently. Derpy just walks up to this high ground. Then he might want to wrap around, knowing there's no, long-range hit scan to really threaten to knock them out of the sky. Looks like a big dupe on Orisa here. Could be powerful. Here comes the orbital ray. And Wub is spitting. Yeah, could basically deny that high ground entirely, and looks like Derpy wasn't able to get back to the rest of their team. This isn't quite how Rialto played out last time we saw Ramattra Punch come here.
Yeah, but I also think this is a different look here with Radx Avidity playing that Bastion. It's just really difficult, especially if Wub is using his wheel cooldown effectively, right, and getting it in a position where he's able to capitalize on some of that big damage. It's almost impossible to keep this Rhine up.
Okay, Wub here just can get a lot of info there, canvassing as much of the map as they can. We're respecting the Rhine, backing up. Orbital Ray comes down. It's a big disengage now from Radx Avidity, and if they can avoid losing anyone here. That is such a win to see the Juno ultimate forced out.
Yeah, and rallies popped here by Radix Avidity. They don't want to get much of anything with it. Nice shatter there, connects with 2. The
they're
going to be there, yeah.
Oh, that's awkward. Okay, that's fine. That's fine for Ramattra Punch. 3-player shatter, like losing a fight after that. The only way that would happen is if we're in Goat's Meta, I think. We are Gucci.
Wallace live though to be able to come back and fight this. Yeah, they actually get back to the spawn, so they'll get some healing. So this is actually huge.
EMEA with a blade and a Terror Surge as well. Rally close for Angelic though. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting choice. You may not get any sightline really here at all. Senna, she gets to play like a long sideline with that side left side room there, so pressure being felt by 12s. Also, these dynamites are always going to be there.
Yeah, but you think Bun's going to make a commitment here onto the Ashe eventually, right? As now you have to fight over the point. Wob just needs a hit.
What a stun! What a stun by Angelic, holding on to that rally bash. Just as Bun got close enough to the ground to confirm the hit. Terror Surge for 12s, they needed the extra health here. Danny's getting close to a duped Terror Surge of their own. But they're going to get knocked out of that. And this is great timing for an Orbital Ray. My goodness, Radix Avidity on defense. Get good value out of it, but it does expire. Elsewhere though, Bun, she switched over to the Echo. She kind of can do it all. Danny falling in the 1 versus 1. Senna is still a problem. She's still posted up on this line, which is just eventually chunking 12s down. An Orbital Ray here for the attackers should give them the checkpoint.
Yeah, it feels like that's going to be the difference maker, right? As you get another Orbital Ray here from Salmon, forces the fight on the cart. Ramattra Punch gets over the line, so not as easy as the last time we saw them. We actually saw them do a nice job on their checkpoint A the last time, but we're not able to get it moving really around the second corner here on B. So we'll see if that's where Ramattra Punch stalls out yet again.
Looks like Bun is going to be sticking to this Echo. Oh man, the sticky bombs plus a dynamite? Meanwhile, I never saw what was coming. Pulse doesn't want to give up this stairwell, but they're going to have to once Ramattra Punch start asking for a little bit more of this real estate.
There's no way to be able to kind of live through that, right? As I do think that Avidity, you have the right idea. You can't give up this position up on the high ground, but it's going to be very costly to fight over.
I think they got the brick back though. Yep, here they are.
Bob was knocked off. Yeah.
Trying to take it down after they pushed into, I don't know where Derpy was at the time. Looks like they dropped low, try and get the cart forward. And they left, I think, the rest of that Radix Avidity team in a great position to run over Ramattra Punch. Maybe the Bob also repositions. It's unclear, but yeah, seeing the Ashe die there to the Orisa feels pretty rough.
I think the Bob was displaced by the spear spin on 12s in the doorway. I think that's what happens there. So
that's heartbreaking.
Ramattra Punch now in a really tough spot, right? 4 ultimates here, 4 Avidity, under a minute to go.
They got blind on this right away.
I mean, the benefit for Ramattra Punch, right, is that there's not like a hit scan here available for Avidity, right? They just put down crazy damage over the bridge, but they do have the Bastion, right? He's still going to be able to do some work.
This is about to get pretty hairy. We have both Orbital Rays at the ready. Ramattra Punch want to take a close fight. Radix Avidity are happy to opt into it as well. Look at the drop down here from so much of Ramattra Punch, with the exception of Derpy, who needs to join their team. Charge over to the car, now contest the corner. Here's that Bastion ultimate. Canvas the road. A little bit of damage there, but still nothing much to write home about. Right on the corner this card is going to be. This is the last fight here of the round. In goes 12s. Doesn't realize that maybe Derpy's behind them. Shattered by Derpy. Doesn't look like it connected, and one brings the Rhine down. Dupe of the Orisa, at least a tank in play for Ramattra Punch, but I don't feel like Danny has much to work with here. Fire Strike was good. Orbital Ray definitely needed for Ramattra Punch, but Radix Avidity are one of their own, and they weather the storm to put a stop to the punches here on Rialto.
And this is almost the exact same spot that it got kind of stalled out in the last time that we saw Ramattra Punch play Rialto. It was very difficult to kind of get around that corner with that Reinhardt. It seems is, yeah, you're going to end up using that shadow there towards the end, but 12s with a really nice Terror Surge, kind of splitting up everybody from Ramattra Punch.
And I feel like 12s may have dropped down without full knowledge of where Derpy was playing, but they didn't really care. I mean, they can't be shattered in Terror Surge anyway, so
no.
I suppose it doesn't really matter. They just hope the rest of their team don't get knocked down.
Yeah.
That wasn't an issue, unfortunately. There was no big Ryan shatter. So, I mean, this is, and this map felt like a bit of a silver bullet out of the loser pick here for Ramattra Punch. Last time we saw them on it, they were So good, honestly. What's it again?
What do you think about Avidity matching like the Echo? So now to actually, obviously they're not going to play the Widow into the Rhine, right? They're going to continue to play this Bastion because they've seen great results. But ditching the Genji to play Echo here, kind of like matching the Echo.
I mean, I think it gives you so much more equity against Reinhardt, especially if that shield ever gets cracked. I also think like you don't really need to play in a position where you can be threatened by Widow. Depends on what defensive line center wants to take up. I feel like the Echo is very good. Also, like duped Rhine Shatter is amazing if you can get like some rally duration. Is very, very powerful. So yeah, keep an eye, I think, on Bun's positioning. She takes a hit coming out of spawn here, but
even duped Orbital Ray, right? We haven't really seen it, but I mean, I'm sure that would be good.
But like it's hard to get there because you obviously, you know, don't have a lot of HP to work with. Not a whole lot as tank either, right? But you can dupe just a Rhine shield. Just duping the shield is nuts. But yeah, Bun probably won't round this corner too aggressively unless she wants. Oh, what?
Wait, what?
Hello! That's a tech grenade!
Range. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You do not want to see that. Oh, Santa felled there by the Bastion grenade of Wub. And this is bad. Now, if you're Bun, you push up. You can take whatever angle you like. And all of Radek's Avidity are going for it. Angelic just couldn't get away quick enough. Bun could just go for it the moment Santa got picked.
This now puts him in a tough spot, right? I mean, you lose Senna off the rip. She's so impactful on that Widow as now moves over to Ash. I guess the positive here for
what are you supposed to do, man?
I mean, I was gonna say you're getting close to your doob, but it does not matter. As Scuff has the orbital ray, you push right through that choke. That's first checkpoint. 5 minutes, more than 5 minutes on the clock here.
Just trying to stave off the tilt here is probably all that Ramattra Punch can manage there. Frustrating for Salmon as well, seeing that fight sort of get forced on Ramattra Punch before you had built that orbital ray properly. Here we go again. It's quite low. Fight on the corners. Look at the space being made for Wub here. Okay, we have a dupe Orisa, but this can be disengaged from pretty easily, I should think. And yeah, Danny here won't have much to do.
I think Ramattra Punch got a little bit scared there. They were giving him high ground control, and Salmon gets hit with a javelin and then takes a ton of damage. And then that's when Avidity looked like they were going to push on in.
Okay, I like this though. Fighting on two fronts, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the passion ultimate there for Avidity, and you're like, why?
Yeah, I mean, what sort of getting pressured and maybe because he thinks everyone's so grouped up, it's an opportunity here for like a real sort of team fight turning ultimate, but in general, that Bastion ult, not really something that even gets played for that heavily. Sometimes it's just suboptimal because there's a DPS loss if you have wheels mode up. It rarely happens, but it's a corner case. Widow for Wub.
So I think this is probably why, because you're going to see a change, right? You know, with Wub now playing the Widow, going to put a lot of pressure on the Danny, but then also Senna. We've seen Senna with the Widow on defense here in the past. You know, have some good showings. They're getting outranged now here, Widow v Ash.
So the shield pressure is just not there outside of the Orisa for Radek's Avidity. Echo doesn't do it well. Focusing beam is useless against shields. And you don't want to spend your Widow ammo shooting it right. You just won't be able to get that shield down. So it's really going to be up to 12s here to disrupt, maybe displace some of these players and make them vulnerable to the Widow sightlines.
Well, I also think for Avidity, you have, you know, all these ultimates that you can just kind of like build up. You don't exactly need, per se, the shield damage, right? I mean, look at where the card is.
Duped Ash. We had a duped Ash, excuse me. That passed awfully quickly. Senna goes down, though. Bun will be picked up in response with the whip shot of Angelic. And Cleopatra's big chillin'. 3 minutes still on the clock here, though. Radek's Avidity, I think this permutation of their comp is probably needs to go in the bin. Yeah, they're going back to the old faithful with a orbital ray to boot.
Yes, now you'll have the orbital ray battle between these two teams. So look at this, Derpy goes really aggressive. Uh-oh.
That's, I don't think we're here for sightseeing right now. That is devastating. And again, that's the displacement I mentioned about. I talked about it in the context of setting Widow up, but really just in general, it's so powerful. It's hard to do to Ryan, but once you get him out of position, he's useless to his team. Yeah, everything in the kitchen sink gets thrown at Ramattra Punch there. They absolutely battered. Second round knockout by concussion. That's what I'm hearing. Nicely done here. Rialto
Doctor stoppage. Doctor stoppage.
Okay, brutal stuff. Rialto was a great map for the. I mean, didn't we watch them playing against Nightmare? And I was like,
yes,
yeah,
we did.
Yeah. They were very, very good here, but they didn't play against what was a counter comp. But
Yes, they're often stalled out in the same spot against Nightmare, so that seems to be kind of a real pain point to kind of get that Ryan around that position. And then you go to the Bastion there towards the end. They try and kind of really aggressive, maybe kind of catch Avidity off guard, and it does not. I mean, you have that pin that probably would have connected on the Orisa, but the Fortify comes in, and then they're just in a lot of trouble.
yeah, you see that. Obviously, this is a knockoff here against the sort of Cleopatra, but I mean, Derpy had already basically won the fight for their team with a 3-player shatter. There's going to be conversation about counter comps. I find the issue that people have with counter comps very strange, because I don't see why you wouldn't pick a setup that doesn't give you the best chance of winning. Like, I'm pretty sure like it spits on the entire corpse of game theory to pick a composition that, may be weaker. But
Yeah, the idea that like the best comp is in theory the mirror, because
Yes.
which
is what we've seen a lot in the past, right? So I'm fine with like watching Ramattra Punch play the Ryan. Like, we talked about this so much last time as well, but people getting upset about countering this comp is like, yes, you're supposed to do that. Like, what? Winning is more fun than losing with a comp you like.
You also see the strength, right, of when you can counter a comp, or come up with a good counter for a comp, right, about how good it could possibly be.
And even then, it's still hard to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
this Bastion comp still has to work hard to beat the Ryan setup. But if you can give yourself like a couple percentage points advantage just fundamentally, then over a long series, like, you're deterministically going to come out on top. It's very hard to imagine a world where you don't want to play a Bastion into this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you see Avidity, they kind of dominate in terms of the stats yet again. So they find themselves up 2-0 here against Ramattra Punch. When we talked to them the other day, they felt like they were able to kind of come up with some counters potentially for this Reinhardt setup that Derpy & Co. wants to bring in, and they look good. They look good thus far.
We had the interview. Wub said it's going to be a 3-0 when we play these guys again. And so far, that has panned out. Let's see, though, if they can land the plane and make it a clean sweep. Stick around, of course. We got another map at least left in this series between Rad X Avidity and Ramattra Punch. Winner goes to main event. Well, the Rialto Silver Bullet turns out to be a dud for Ramattra Punch, and so it's on to plan B, or C, or D. Whichever one we're at this point, Runasapi is the pick for Ramattra Punch. Again, a map that, feels pretty even. You can, and you definitely can play these Reinhardt compositions. We've seen it played by SRP frequently in Europe, but you're still going to have the same issues that you've had for most of the series, I feel.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, where I think Runasapi has some spots on the map that I think the Reinhardt can be quite good, but then also really long sight lines, right? That can be quite troublesome for the Rhine. So I think it's more on Ramattra punch, right? I think Avidity, we've seen what they want to do here against this Reinhardt. Can you maybe move some things around? And you're really just kind of thinking about the DPS here for Ramattra punch to counter what Avidity's throwing out.
Last time we saw Ramattra punch on this map, they full cleared 0-3 splash. Absolutely just wiped them off the map here. Was, again, one of those snowbally Runasapis that we do get from time to time. I don't know how easy it's going to be for Ramattra punch to get off to that kind of start here, but I'm here for the Mei play, especially when they're going to start the fight on a very wallable part of the map.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Mei wall is also going to protect against some of that Bastion damage as well, right? Where Therapy doesn't have the shield, you can kind of at least escort the Reinhardt out, get healed up.
It's a good point. Yeah, defensive Mei walls. Okay, kind of cancels out the Bastion cooldown. I mean, you can break through it, and you do. The Radix Avidity definitely, they get priority, like a window of at least after that cooldown, but here comes Ramattra punch again. They're getting a little low. Those torpedoes from Salmon go a long way though to getting him back in fighting form, but in the meantime, that bot is being led away from the fight. The Ramattra punch have got to push in. They should know they have a player advantage here, seeing the cart move. Can they get to this Bastion? Wub! Oh, he's trying to stay alive. Back behind the golden bovine.
The cart's just moving. I mean,
Yep, and it's still going.
It's really bad though for Ramattra punch because they go on this route, they don't actually get any kills, and the bot's just moving deeper into their territory.
And yeah, I mean, you could see Scuff was ready to line up an orbital ray if Ramattra punch dared to try and fight them. Up here, yeah, definitely has to be a little bit more careful against the Mei. I like that as an adaptation, especially on this kind of map. It really makes sense on push maps. Bun has gotten up behind them. They've walled Bun off. Okay, she can just get around that. Here comes the Ray, but it's not a good positioning of it for Radix Avidity at all. Trying to play inside of it while they can, but Wiper's already gone down. Here's a Terror Surge, big one. Danny goes low, falls to Ice Block instantly. Tor's trying to time things there, but should still have this Mei kill. The healing in Ice Block not enough to get Danny back to fighting form.
I was going to say, it's enough to win though. I mean, you still have a few players here. It's, now the bot moving back in the other direction. It's a bit of chaos here at the start of Runasapi, so it will be now Ramattra punch getting in control of the bot as they move into Avidity territory. But these are the areas of the map that are going to be quite tough, right? These long sight lines here.
Okay, back to the corner play here for Cleopatra. Ramattra punch able to get a little bit of progress. They also looks like they're able to stop the checkpoint. Take! All right, no time, I guess, to go for the fortify there. Blade in response for Bun, but oh my goodness, Cleopatra comes out of absolutely nowhere with a hammer swing. That's a lot of spend here for Radix Avidity in a fight that goes horrendously for them.
Yeah, this is good here for Ramattra punch, right? A lot of ultimates thrown in there by Avidity, and it's a nice shatter, plus being able to use the rally there for Ramattra punch, which is going to get them closer to potentially tying this one up, as probably need another fight to do so, as Avidity coming fast.
The Deadeye, they can't quite reach the Cassidy here. Javelin spin, but Senna can just hold through that and eventually bring 12s down. Grenade there hit on the button, so it wasn't really far they could have gone, even though they were deflecting. They would eventually have been brought to heel. Got a little bit of Raid Boss brig play. Senna needs to respect it, but Danny gets involved now as well. Another Ramattra punch fight win. This might well get them into the lead.
Yeah, and the Mei is making a big difference here. Ramattra punch bringing in the Mei, Danny to play that hero, as this will be checkpoint and lead now for Ramattra punch. So 2 fights in a row go their favor in a big way, as now you have a Blizzard set up here for this next one. So really good opportunity for Ramattra punch maybe to back up, take a fight in an area that favors them a little bit better.
And they are leading the bot away now. This is going to force, at some point, Radix Avidity to try and push through them. Till then, we have the Juno or Parity Blizzard available here for Danny. Not great against the Orisa, who can often walk out of it with Fortify up. The pressure's already being felt by Danny. They might not have a chance to throw a Blizzard. Yeah, they have to get out of there. Okay, there's the Blizzard. Oh, wow, the damage there for Bun. There's no way anyone's going to be ready for that. Came at them, got back out of absolute hell. Good charge here as well. I've got to say, Derby's doing a great job of finding those windows where there's no Fortify on 12s. And Jenna gets taken down though as well. Scarf finding 2 kills in this fight. Hello. An ice block for Danny rather means they can't be a part of this fight at all.
Yeah, I mean, you still have that Brig with the Juno alive in combination with the Orisa. I was going to say it was a really nice Blizzard from Danny because it follows, you know, the orbital ray. It comes on in. They want to get aggressive for Avidity. The Blizzard from Danny is quite good.
They're gonna fight.
Just not able to live on through it. Yeah, we're going to get another fight here rather fast.
Scarfed already at 40% to the next orbital. Chatter here available, of course, for Cleopatra. Yeah, again, okay, not the most convincing Bastion Older as per usual. Forces some positioning, I guess. This is scary. Hyper Ring, Senna coming forward with the Deadeye, but great javelin from Walls. Really been excellent over the course of this series, interrupting those. Now Derpy's feeling the pressure, feeling the burn, baby. Twirls runs him over. 4 hooves, hit harder than 2 feet. And they'll get that checkpoint.
Yeah, and you don't end up having your rally there for Angelic to deal with that. That would have been a huge ultimate that you would have wanted to be able to keep Derpy alive, but don't have that ult at the time. So, and now it'll be Avidity gaining even more progress, gaining the lead. And we've seen a lot of teams be able to push pretty far past where they currently are now. As
what a shatter, man!
Yeah, 3-player shatter.
Yeah, and that's why, maybe that's why Radix Avidity wanted a Bastion on, rather a Baptiste on map 1 is to prevent that stuff from happening. But the blade seems inevitable here for Bun. She's found 2 already. Both shield bearers, no less. Ramattra Punch absolutely decimated by that, and that is gonna really sting. Because you have just shattered, what, 2, 3 people? You got rid of the Bastion at the start of the fight, and you still get wrecked. Now we're getting into triple-digit territory, Matt.
Yeah, 3-player shatter, and now for Avidity, you are in complete control of this one, right? Under 4 minutes. For them, you're like, okay, can we get them to use, you know, either a rally or an orbital ray to get out of basically their base? I mean, those are the things you're looking at now, which would be huge wins. It's going to be the Blizzard to kick things off for Ramattra Punch. I think you probably hold on to the support ultimate, see if you can get a win off of this.
Very, very low, though, was Danny still. Yeah, that rally coming up when it did also the early pick on Brig. We'll bail Ramattra Punch out of this situation, but they've lost a lot of the map. They do have time. It's about consecutive fight wins here, and I think you want to let this orbital ray go as quickly as you can here. Try and... Have they got the checkpoint? I think they might just be short.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit short. Yeah, it looks like maybe a little bit short, but to see when they get back. Actually, no, it looks like they have it. I think they do have the checkpoint. So they do have checkpoint here. Ramattra Punch, they'll use that orbital ray rather early, but look at this, a little bit of a flank here, an off angle from what?
Well, I got what they asked for, Matt, but it didn't really work. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It was an early orbital ray, so they had the same idea as me, just trying to exacerbate that ult advantage, but it
Well,
wasn't
they just
set
wrap
up.
around, right? Avidity wraps around towards this opposite side through kind of like the fight where you usually see at the start of
They rain.
So
They're going for it. And then I interrupted again. God, Senna is a magnet for these javelins. Tough break for her. The orbital ray that got used in Radix Avidity still haven't been able to do all that much with it as well. Both teams use those ults and neither team gets big value out of it. I guess I'm surprised because we've conditioned ourselves to think that it just equals a fight win, but on this map it hasn't been the case.
Well, I think the biggest thing though is that you know, Avidity, you end up losing a Ninwek to Derpy, and you ended up in a scenario where you
they
could
did
have
not.
actually. You know, they did.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you would have had the stoppage. So
Gotcha.
you lose Ninwai because Derpy picks up the kill. You would have been able to use this rally that you see now in that previous fight.
Here we go again. Big blade, deflex from Bun, but Cleopatra. On the way out there, got a straight jump.
Wait, hold on. They want to keep going.
I like this big time. Look at how they capitalize on the Blizzard. NY and Blood both caught up in it, and Senna. I mean, tough to miss those ones. Very low is scuffed as well. They're trying to back away here. Ramattra Punch might be able to mount a comeback. 12s is always a nuisance. Bun is still present in the fight, but it's a 4 versus 2. Yeah, you're not winning these.
Yeah, 12 always just feels like it's pretty healthy on the Orisa, and as I say that, it ends up getting taken out. So Ramattra Punch, you do lose Derpy, but you come on back with a Blizzard in rally of your own. It's
getting real.
More progress to take the lead, yeah.
Not quite enough time to push up here, not enough of a buffer, but yeah, getting the lead definitely possible. They've done it. Ramattra Punch now have the lead on Runasapi, and Bun went in there to try and prevent that from happening, but they, I mean, she's stuck in herself now. Radix Avidity now have to fight to prevent the map from being full completed here. I don't know how on earth they're supposed to have the time to get back and try and threaten a win of their own here. Here's the Deadeye from Senna. And there's one getting picked off. That's gotta be game. How do you bounce back? 42 seconds left here. Terror Surge thrown in. Angelic unlikely to escape this, but the damage has already been done. You can put your feet up now for a little bit as Ramattra punch and get set up to hold the map defensively.
Yeah, another 25 meters. They kind of get on top of this for Ramattra punch. So a huge push there towards the units. A nice main ball from Danny. Bon, obviously she's going to contest, but gets split off from the rest of the team. I think we have to be scared about here for Ramattra punches. Obviously this, Bastion damage and ult that's coming on in, but Bon gonna build up towards this blade rather quickly.
Well, I'm gonna drop a few of the bombs here. Really holding onto them this time. Very meticulous all of a sudden, as the stakes are high. Right, Avidity want the series to be done here. Shadow gets nothing. Now, of course, was the fortified Orisa in the way, and Twelves is even able to get out of the blizzard, but it's about touching the bot here. And a split. Blade from Bun. Can she save the day? Rally, stun, and no touch for Radex Avidity. Ramattra punch have bailed themselves out. That is a sick comeback, and one we just don't see nearly often enough on this map.
No, as they clutch up at the very end, right? They fall down. It's like about 50 meters each, and then they fall behind. Another 50 meters gotten there by Avidity, and then Ramattra punch answers back in a huge way. End up taking the lead there towards the end as they're able to figure out a way to play around this Rhine on Runasapi. Now you just got to figure out a way, right? You're going to have to win some of these Avidity map selections where you think they probably have comps that are even more potentially tailored towards that Rhine.
Again, we've now seen the best spots, I think, to get that Reinhardt going. You've used 2 map picks here as Ramattra punch. So yeah, I mean, okay, we can talk about maps that lend themselves to Orisa, but honestly, it's just kind of any of them. You just pick something that allows for ground-borne play. Maybe you just try and avoid your Gibraltars of the world, but honestly, you could go there. I just don't know if you want to try and Widow match against Senna. That could be a little bit scary. Wub can definitely do it. I mean, Wub has played at the highest level possible in Overwatch. But you might feel like that is a coin toss and really based on just which Widow is feeling themselves here. So there are a ton of map types still to go, and Flashpoint is definitely still on the table here. So, I believe in the Ramattra punch Rhine comp. I think it does work. I think their individuals are good enough, and I think the May twist here on a map like Runasapi was really well advised. I think the wall catches and also being able to use that defensively to stop this alpha damage from Bastion is crucial.
Yeah, and you see this blizzard, it definitely separates Avidity. Nobody able to make it back towards that bot to contest it, to keep it going. So Ramattra punch, you can definitely tell by watching the game this one, they definitely had the upper hand in a lot of the different fights that we saw. So you can see the stats reflect that. The damage output, like we talk about, still extremely high for Avidity, given the fact that they're playing that Bastion.
I mean, the fact that Ramattra punch have such close damage when they have a May against a Bastion is kind of insane, actually. That means that obviously the rest of them are really dealing it. Also, Ryan doesn't necessarily lend themselves to high damage numbers against a comp that wants to poke you down and break your shield here. So great showing. I really think that we saw the clip there earlier. The blizzards coming down from Danny capitalized beautifully upon by Senna. Also managing, Bun. She goes in with a blade. There's a rally shield bash being held for that ability, or a castity grenade to hinder her, to slow her up, force her into an early deflect. A lot of tools here to stop that Genji from running away with the game with just that naked Dragon Blade.
Yeah, and what do you think? I mean, what does Avidity even pick, right? So we do have escorts gone from the pool and then push the moment. So hybrid, flashpoint / flash, still an option. What, you think a New Junk Suravasa? Do we see a New Junk City?
So I do think that Suravasa offers you more of those straightaways and can make it a little bit harder for Ryan to play.
What about
corners?
What about Midtown? You could play Midtown or Blizzard World, right? Both of those pretty difficult to play a Reinhardt potentially on.
I don't know. I feel like it can be hard for Ryan to get that high ground. Also, because he sort of can get up there though. Also, Ryan attacking through that first choke is pretty scary for defenders because he obviously can just buy a lot of that space. You have to be more aggressive and make it harder for him to walk up for free. A New Junk City is also a map to play against Ryan comps because they're pretty immobile by default, and you definitely get some stages like Ducts, for example, where the Ryan comp has to just walk in through some of these chokes and try and gain high ground. Obviously, Blizzard World's a good option. I think even the teams get frustrated on Orisa comps. I think flankers start to become a lot more important there. There might be a map where Bun can be Yeah, definitely a little bit more dangerous. Anyway, we'll go to a break. We're going to come back with map number 4 here as Ramattra Punch has stayed alive in this series. Close one of Runasapi, but hey, they're here to play. Got to be a reverse sweep now, though. Here we are, folks. Map number 4 on deck in this decider match between Radx Avidity and Ramattra Punch. The latter being able to fight back on Runasapi. Hard-fought push map that honestly looked like it would be a 3-0 series at one point. But the Ryan comeback was real, and we're heading now over to Suravasa.
Yeah, and this is one of the maps that we had talked about briefly, where it's a flashpoint map that has some high ground capabilities, right? So you can play Arisa, you can play other different types of tanks here if you would like for Avidity. So see how, Ramattra Punch, they're just going to kind of cycle around these damage dealers, right? Everything else, I think Juno's a must pick. I think if you wanted to, right, you can play the Kiri, but I think you probably need the Brig with like Bun playing a lot of Genji throughout the series. So I think you're really just looking at the damage dealers here for Ramattra Punch to make some changes off of what we've seen.
We talked about this in the break. Some of these flashpoints are a little ugly for Ryan to play out in. They're quite open. Makes it a little bit hard to get that shield value that you're looking for. This first one, no exception. It features a fairly long straightaway. Ramattra Punch really need to cross this gap entirely or kind of fight here if they want to contest it adequately. And there are corners here for Derpy to play on, but yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, once you get kind of pushed here onto the point, that's actually, I believe, a stun that comes on through with a spear there on the Rhine as soon as the shield is gone. So then you're just a sitting target for all that Bastion damage. I was going to say, I do like the idea for Danny to play the Genji here, kind of get up on some of that high ground, can kind of circumvent the point a little bit easier as Danny, though, gets caught out and you're going to lose him. So, even more free percentage here to Avidity as they want to push up, see if they can get some more kills.
Stagger on one more hero would be catastrophic here for Ramattra Punch, so they are very quickly going to try and pull everyone back towards their spawn. And this will buy another 10 to 15% for Radx Avidity. So Salmon's still building a pretty decent orbital ray here. It's just, hard to heal up a team that, well, frankly, are respawning. But here they come once more. Radx Avidity want to fight again. It's the Bastion play into the Ryan shield, and Cleopatra once more must concede this ground.
But like what? You just have like a brief window here, right, where the Bastion doesn't have all that damage.
Great block of the boss. Fortify keeps him stopped in his tracks. Okay, the healing for 12's not there, even with the orbital ray in play. Both teams pop that ultimate. Scarf, there's not much they can do about Danny as they drop down to fight them. Rally committed. That one is a head scratcher at that point in the fight. Radx Avidity really thought they could go for it.
Yeah, I'm shocked they end up putting the rally into that. I mean, they get to 99, right? But there's nobody really alive. I mean, you just had the Bun, she was alive at that moment. It ends up having a blade, but no shot you're gonna pop that in that type of scenario. Maybe they think the rally's on the other side, they can get it out doing that. But yeah, that rally, probably love to have that one back.
Okay. This is rough. The Radx Avidity hoping to end the round there, presumably. We like watching these ults. They've done nothing really over the course of the series, but that's some decent damage at least. Dare I use the word pressure for the umpteenth time? This is what it generates at least on the backline of Ramattra Punch. Danny has the high ground here. Forced though into deflect through much of this blade's duration, so they won't be getting value out of the Genji ult. Bun might be looking for her opportunity to do the same now. Danny was already dead, vaporized, and, well, buried. But the rest of Ramattra Punch are sitting ducks for this blade. Angelic looks like they've used the rally bash already. No, it was a neutral knockdown between Briggs, so didn't catch onto the Genji at all. And so Radx Avidity flipped the flashpoint back, and they'll have it for the first round.
Yes, the Shatter doesn't connect with anything there from Derby, and then the follow-off from Danny's blade, just non-existent. So now we'll see a change over to the Mei. The Mei was successful on Runasapi. We'll see it yet again.
A lot of high ground here for Genjis to occupy. This is definitely part of the map. It's a little bit annoying to unseat them. Juno can also perch up here as well. That's a lot of damage getting sent back towards Ramattra Punch. But they'll be fine. Gonna be an orbital ray fest again in this fight, though. And then when he gets set up straight away, Twals is stuck here and just able to get out. But they're very, very low. Scarfdown is going to be pumping that healing in, but Radx Avidity survived the Ramattra Punch orbital ray, and now they get it for themselves. It's like the waterfall training from Demon Slayer.
Yeah, and the point opens up during that as well, right? So with the orbital ray that Avidity uses, right, you're able to get control of the point.
Senna, nice little dynamite there. She doesn't want to fully commit to the fight, and why would she? But Derpy now, which is supposed to be the foothold for Ramattra punch on that point, is down. Angelic going to be flanked, body blocked, surrounded. The May here for Danny, we just really haven't seen it make the difference yet. Now, Waldo really gives only one route of retreat for Radix Avidity, and they do fully disengage.
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of fight that May on the point, right? With that May wall just kind of splitting players off. He's just kind of run away. It's Avidity now looking across the table. What do they really have? I mean, the Terror Surge not really going to be able to open things up with that. Is nice shots there from Senna as continues the awesome hit scan play. Make it 2.
And Blizzard is so good here. Ramattra Punch haven't had to use it yet, but it is dirty. The May wall's also really impactful. This is a tough point for Radix Avidity to fight for.
Yeah, at this moment, right? You know, you're able to kind of circumvent some of the Bastion damage, right? Get the Rhine out of the way, and then if they're stuck on the point, I mean, you got the Rhine and the May. Great heroes to fight over that point.
Shadow, Blizzard, Orbital Ray. There's no reason for Ramattra Punch to lose this fight. I've tried a little bit of tech is there. Boost up with attack grenade to get high ground, but probably wouldn't have been a whole lot they could do with it. Blade from Bun has to be big. There's just so many ultimates in play here they have to deal with. Honestly, getting out alive would be great. That's a stretch goal. No, the torpedoes do come on in. Danny is down. Went for the Blizzard, apparently. And here's a Terror Surge that takes Derpy down to about half HP. They still have a Shadow to work with, though. And yeah, this is played out the way we drew it up, folks. And Ramattra Punch didn't even have to use their Orbital Ray. I'll be very pleased with this.
Yeah, no, huge error for Ramattra Punch, right? And I think it starts with getting that kill onto Bun. They end up having to use the rally, but Bun able to just, you know, put down some damage and live for a period of time. Actually kind of rolls off the side of the roof, so unfortunate for her there. That's the way it kind of ends. But I know Ramattra Punch, they do have the advantage. Pretty commanding one in that fight. This point, though, I think is going to be pretty tough for Ryan. I mean, you see how open it is. I don't know how you're going to approach this. Maybe try and take high ground control first.
I think you do want to against the Ryan, but they will look up to fight you right here. And Bob is... Okay, I like Bob to the point. I was worried it would go to the high ground because it's pretty avoidable there. Oh, good wall. That is a good wall. Toll's going to go very, very low. Orbital Ray here, though, eventually gets them through it. Getting a bit awkward now. Shadow, of course, not there for Derpy. And yeah, it's just a sheer weight of bodies for Radix Avidity.
Having the rally there for Radix Avidity is massive, right? No, okay, we're gonna go both Orbital Rays, but then, you know, one team having the rally and the you know, Bastion damage, the other team not having that. It's a massive advantage there for Avidity.
Now we're in a situation we saw around that first flashpoint, where Ramattra Punch have to play a longer angle here. But they have a capacity for that, it's fine. Derpy knocks back briefly. Tries to go in with that charge, but it does force the fortify, just as they had planned. Senna's able to roll back away from those mortars. So no harm, no foul, as far as the Ramattra Punch are concerned. They've braved that Bastion ult again pretty comfortably. Then they'll look to get the high ground. Big staging ground here for Senna. What a... Oh, okay. Up in the chandelier, Bun. Now is draped. Yeah. She's had a stunning day. Ramattra Punch here now, poised to rest this point back at 80% and counting. They've got the Rhine on the point here. A little awkward again. They have to play out in the open. See some of that healing coming in from the Juno of Radix Avidity. That is a full charge there from Twirls. Again, it's to buy a bit of time. Create that space. Being able to get rid of the May is big, but now can you handle the angry Rhine? Wybie's down, so that extra frontline damage isn't really there, but Orisa hits hard enough on her own. And Orbital Ray, pretty good at boosting damage. Scuff trying to stay above it there if they can, but Senna is, oh my goodness, the headshots getting doled out here, one after another. And now we'll have a little bit of stagger out.
Yeah, as Senna puts down some serious damage, even you know, as the Orbital Ray from Avidity comes on out. That time, though, it's you know, Angelic with the rallies, so huge for Ramattra Punch there as they end up winning that fight as Avidity now comes back. You know, probably 2 more chances at this one.
They do have rally. Big point of difference ult-wise, and now Bun doesn't really have much to tangle with in terms of defensive ults against her Blade. Okay, Trolls get some space here. She wants to check to see if anyone's left in reserve, but Derpy didn't abandon anyone. Early ice block, though, that's huge, especially against a Blade that's coming up here. Scary! Deadeye to relieve some of the pressure, but Senna is looking skyward, apparently. Here's that Blade. And as promised, It comes in hard, but the healing, just the pocketing of Senna means that Bond cannot finish off the Cassidy. Danny does fall. There should be a Radix Avidity fight here, but it's hard fought. It's close.
Yeah, I think that the Deadeye, I think Senna's looking up at the sky. I think she's just looking for Bun, right? As the blade, like, it's just coming over the top, just trying to find anything. As you know, Avidity, they end up taking that point, put themselves one flash point away from taking the series here. Ramattra Punch will not go easy. I think they're starting to look much better here, you know, playing this Rhine with the May and the Cassidy.
All right, this point, not the best for Ryan, but doable. Can play this corner, can just feel frustrated and try and get up sometimes. All right, Stalk drops some babies. Ramattra Punch, though, again, it's really just a bit of a tickle. Look at this, like, the use of the javelin there to try and knock Derpy away from the wall out into the open. Orbit Array wins fights. I don't know how many times I've said that. Good ultimate. Should use it.
Yeah, it's the orbital array there from Ramattra Punch, and everybody for Avidity's like back on the point, right? So there's no way you're gonna get away from that. Like you have to kind of fight in that type of scenario. And look, I mean, Avidity's gonna force Ramattra Punch into that type of scenario now too, right? Where they're gonna be able to come in, use their orbital array. You have a Genji Blade potentially as well, right? So it's going to be difficult for Ramattra Punch to fight through that. They do have Rally, right? You have Rally, Blizzard, and Shatter, so an opportunity to use some of those to stop Avidity in their tracks.
Yeah, that Rayo again will be important. Like the way that's been laid up there, but Tolls and Co get ahead of it. Wobby's taken down to the Blizzard. It's a great counter, like you mentioned. It stops them in their tracks. Bun can't do too much. Again, it's the Rally Shield Bash save for the Dragon Blade, and then a Shatter finishes the job. This is beautiful. Old economy, very nice for Ramattra Punch.
Yeah, I mean, now that's perfect, right? They end up using all of those ultimates I talked about, right? To be able to kind of survive through everything that comes in from Avidity, and Avidity now makes some changes for a bunch. She'll pick up the Mace, so Farley feels like not getting a ton of value out of the Genji.
The next flash point
in time.
The next flash point is huge. For that.
I think you give this up. Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to just kind of go in there, contest, and like give them ultimates, right? As they'll give it up as we move to the final flashpoint here. As Ramattra Punch, I mean, who would have thought this, right? An opportunity for like a reverse sweep on the table. Obviously, they'd have to take the final map, but a chance to get us there at least.
Definitely. I mean, it's more than on the cards. But again, I mentioned that the main pick here is, you know, Bun is thinking about this flashpoint. The wall is wide enough to cover this expanse. May is just so powerful here. Can split up, catch off individuals. Obviously, Blizzard here is approximately the same size as this area as well. Yeah, just too good to go past, I think. Especially with the Bastion May comp. Almost had to catch there, but the wall gets broken awfully quick. It has been nerfed, so you can get through that a little easier now. Scuff does not want to be there at all. They're able to get away, but Senna gets caught in the meantime. Ooh, ugly, ugly. Blizzard comes down, but Wub is well clear of it now. Wall thrown up for Radix Avidity to disengage behind, and even the orbital ray might not be enough for Ramattra Punch here. It has now expired.
Man, it feels like a little bit of an overspin for Ramattra Punch, right? We'll see how it kind of pans out, but you know, Deadeye, Blizzard, orbital ray, no rally, all used there, and they get 30%. Where you know, Avidity, you just end up using your rally, coming on back in with that Bastion damage. And now you're going to have just about everything here for these next few fights.
I am a little scared for Ramattra Punch. You really only get 2.5 fights here. So now they have to deal with the orbital, right?
If you lose a fight fast here, you're in a lot of trouble, right? Because you're not going to build up towards any ultimates or anything.
But if you lose it slow, you don't have another chance to fight the flashpoint. That's the catch-22. Away we go. Cleopatra, the only ultimate in play. Do you have the time to try and generate ults? I guess you can attempt to, but you're in an awful spot economically. This is just free ults here, free real estate. No shatter connection there. Looks like a fortified 12's just basically tanked that. Wall there, broken instantly. Danny picked off by the javelin, and this is tough for Ramattra Punch. You did not need that orbital ray, but Scuff throws it instead. Now it's about stagger. It's about making sure Ramattra Punch cannot get back to base. Oh, and the timing there for Senna means that, yep, they don't get to play the game. Ramattra Punch will eventually fall as Radix Avidity get to choose a map that really suits this Orisa style. While they struggle a little bit with the May comp from Ramattra Punch, they will punish this Ryan one tricking.
Yeah, it took a little bit of a harder probably showing than maybe Avidity had thought, right? They thought they were just going to kind of 3-0 them and walk right through Ramattra Punch, but that was not the case. Ramattra Punch put up a really good fight, especially kind of committing to playing one different type of comp that a lot of others don't play, and they almost take us to a game 5. So I think a good showing from Ramattra Punch, doing what they like to do, but Avidity will move on.
Yeah. I think the biggest or the one of the biggest things that Avidity did really well was utilizing that Bastion, right? When it just came out, I think Rampage really like had a lot of trouble just like trying to deal with that Bastion, and they did sort of like figure out towards the end, but then at the end it was Avidity taking the win. Great stuff from Avidity.
They overspent so much on that last flashpoint, right? I think Matt mentioned there was like 3 ultimates like were committed. Well, let's dial it back a little bit. Let's talk about Lijiang Tower. It feels like an age ago now. This is where we like saw the countercom come out, Matt, and again, like especially on like maps like Lijiang, it was close, by the way. This is like a really very close map, pretty hyped towards the end. These two teams are really evenly matched, so great to see this depth, occurring out in NA. But yeah, I don't know, you're just playing at a disadvantage. It's like a 40 to 45% basically every fight with this Ryan.
And Orisa's survivability is so high. I mean, that's like how you really see it, right? Like a lot of these fights, you kind of look, everybody's health bar is kind of dwindling. I mean, Twal's like, still at like, 80% HP, and the Reinhardt's basically dead, right? I know some of it obviously is due to, healing, and I know obviously you want to give the healers credit, but I think Orisa with the cooldowns is just so much easier to survive. Just a larger HP pool to kind of live on through, where Ryan has no, outside of the shield, there's no mitigation, right? So you lose the shield by virtue of the Bastion. You're just a bullet sponge.
I do think Ryan is reasonable. I think it's fine. It's just counterable. I think like in a vacuum, like if you're playing the Ryan into like a Genji Ashe or something like that, I'm fine with it. Like you can really take a lot of space. I think that obviously there are some issues, like Matt sort of mentioned about your damage mitigation, especially in terms of like your team utility outside of that shield being broken, and that's where Ryan sometimes has to make these like individual plays to slant team. But I just feel like you have to do a lot to have the impact you need to against Orisa, who's consistent.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need to do a lot, right, to make it work, and then like typically, right, you kind of see some of these compositions as Twal, so be able to player of the match for Avidity, had a great game on the Orisa, but you see like these comps and you're trying to like force something in and make it work, and playing around X hero, right, has such a benefit for X hero, right, that like it ends up working out. Playing around the Reinhardt doesn't necessarily like it just makes the Reinhardt like live a little bit longer. Like it doesn't exactly like benefit, it doesn't give you like a massive advantage, right, if you're able to make a Reinhardt per se work, right? It's just you can make a Reinhardt work. Yeah. That's I think the downside of it, where some heroes in the past have been forced into metas, but when you can actually make it work with them, they can like dominate the game, right? If you play around that hero, the Ryan can't exactly do that.
I think that's why, like, for me, just watching if a team is like really utilizing the Ryan, that like gets me excited, because it's more difficult than using a meta, I guess, comp with Orisa, right? But it is definitely super hard to do. So if you could pull that off, that makes you look really good. But I mean, that is the difficult part, right?
Yeah, but if you don't pull it off, then you get eliminated.
Then you lose.
You get eliminated in groups, right? I mean, that's kind of the downside of it. I mean, that's why a lot of people will play something like the Orisa based setup, because it's better, it's safer, it's easier to play, right? Like you're not committing your whole life to do it. That's kind of why you see it happen.
Yeah, I agree. All right, it's time for our post-match interview, and for this one we got. Never mind. No interview.
Solo interview.
All right.
You're interviewing me.
I'm interviewing your show.
Yeah.
We got Matt. Matt. What do you have to say about how'd you get this win?
I contributed a lot to this win. Wub, obviously we had him on the show the other day. Thought that this was going to be a 3-0.
Yeah.
We ended up, giving up a map because we didn't look that good on that map. But when they go Reinhardt, we go Bastion. We break the shield. Reinhardt die. And then we just win, and we made it look easy.
Solid, yeah. It almost feels like we actually had an interview.
Yeah, are you gonna 3-0 the Toronto to fight next, Matt? Is that what you feel is?
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys stink. There's no chance they win a map against me and the rest of Avidity.
Yeah, well. All right, we're taking a look at the Group C bracket. Of course, Nightmare was the first one to move on to the main stage, and with this win, the one that's moving up to the main event, it is going to be Radx Avidity. Great stuff.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, so this is Group C. So second seed from Group C has to play Citrus Nation in their first matchup. So, you know what? I will say that Radix Avidity have what it takes to give us a good game there. I'm looking forward to that immensely. I like it, of course. NRG Shock are playing Toronto to fight in their first game. We didn't talk about that previously, but yeah, look, I think that now we have like Shikigami and Radix Avidity making it through to the main event. I'm really glad to see that. We're seeing some teams that haven't really had the chance to show what they're capable of at that level. So bring them on.
Yeah, and Avidity's looked good. They have some really talented players, right? So I think an opportunity, obviously going up against any of the number 1 seeds going to be really difficult, but an opportunity to make some noise, maybe going a little bit deeper into this.
What about it?
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a main event schedule later on at the end of the day. So we'll see
show you guys.
which team plays, which teams will be playing which. But for now, we are going back to the the post-match interview, and for this one we got Twirls for a quick check. Twirls, hello.
Hello.
Hey, big congratulations, great job. I think that was a really exciting match to watch. How did you guys sort of prepare for your match against Rampage, like knowing that they were going to sort of utilize, lean heavily into that Rhine comp?
Well, we were just gonna play Ressa everywhere and Bastion, and then Bon was just gonna swap between like whatever felt good for her, and that was basically the game plan. Play our turns with Bastion and then kill them.
Twirls, you're second in Group C, so you end up going up against Citrus Nation in the first round of the main event. First of all, congrats on making the main event. That's awesome. How are you feeling about that matchup? Obviously, Citrus Nation get out of their group even above TSM, so looking like they're a little dangerous. Have you thought at all about what you should expect from them?
From Citrus?
Yeah.
Orisa and Queen, like Zep likes to play those characters, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Tap is a strong Tracer player. For the rest, we haven't really looked too much into Citrus Nation yet, so but we will now that we are top 8.
You got some time before that match kicks off, but I want to ask, really strong Risa play all throughout the series today. Around the ultimate Terror Surge, explain to me a little bit about what the decision making is on when you want to use that or hold on to it, as we saw you get some good value out of them.
It's a really clutch ult sometimes, but it's usually probably best used to set up the tempo, when you're already using forcing cooldowns and you're winning trades. It's really good to close fights out. I had some really bad ults as well, I won't lie. So
hey, we won't highlight those. All right.
Sorry about that.
We
already forgot.
Here.
Okay,
All right, Twirls, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much, and good luck in the main event.
Thank you.